What's up, beautiful people? This is Christian from the Successful Spiritualpreneur podcast. Today, I'm very excited to have Anjie Hipple on the podcast. And she is of the Judah channel, which is a passionate speaker, spiritual teacher, and channel of angels and other interstellar wisdom keepers. She went from former school teacher from battling chronic illness to channeling a collective of 350,000 angels that she calls the Oprah of the Cosmos. But here's what makes her story perfect for the Spiritualpreneur podcast. Angie didn't just experience miraculous healing when Judah first came through, she also built a business empire around it over the years. So from day one, she and her partner systematically recorded every channeling session and created multiple revenue streams over the years. Best-selling books, online courses, private sessions, retreats, and daily content reaching thousands globally. She's been featured on major platforms like the Next Level Soul podcast and has proven that you can honor the sacred while building serious success. What I love about Angie's approach is her philosophy: I did it, let's do it together. Now you do it. So let's dive in. Welcome to the podcast, Angie.
Hi, Christian. It's lovely to meet you. Good to be here with your beautiful audience.
Thank you. Yes, and my first question is for you would be, when did you decide to make this spiritual thing a business? Because the whole mission of this podcast is to show more people that it's possible to not only be spiritual but also make spirituality your passion, your business, your income stream. So yeah.
Well, I had been a long-time consumer of self-help psychology and spiritual materials as a Christian in the fundamentalist Christian society up until my 40s. Who knows how much money I invested in myself into all kinds of self-help and personal growth tools. When in my mid-40s, I had a series of events that led me into a whole new realm out of the Christian faith and into more of a seeking mode and questioning, and still again investing a lot in myself, reading a lot of enlightened masters, listening to a lot of new to me spiritual teachers, Eckhart Tolle, and all the many beautiful ones that are out there. And about 7 or 8 years into that process, I had a miraculous happening. I was kind of ambushed by these angels called Judah. I was on the tail end of a 2-year-long chronic illness and really pretty desperate. I was spending a lot of time meditating, going through a big major ego stripping. And at the end of that 2 years, I didn't know it was going to be the end, but it was when these beautiful Judah angels came through and I began channeling for the first time. And it wasn't something I had asked for or planned for. It wasn't like something that I wanted to do. It just happened. And it was so remarkable and transformative. Within 6 months, we began putting out material from Judah. It just seemed, at the time, I had transitioned out of teaching in a school environment to teaching music lessons out of my home. I'd been doing that for several years, and I really liked it a lot. But it seemed like this happening with Judah was so remarkable and transformative. It just didn't seem like the kind of thing that you should hide or just leave to chance. And one of the first few messages that Judah gave me in those early months was go big or go home. So I just jumped in with both feet, I had never built a business of my own. I had certainly never done anything in this particular space. So, but right away, there was immediate response. And we hired a great team member from the beginning who could do the digital tech side, and we just went all in on it. And within 18 months, we were knocking it down, bringing in plenty of money. We were probably in the black within the first 6 months.
Wow, that's incredible. I love that. And for you, when you say your process is, I did it, we together, now you do it, that sounds like such a great philosophy, not only for, coaching, but for business. How did you apply that in your building a business?
Well, that was something I was taught. I was an elementary school teacher, and I taught children the same age as your son, first, second grade. And the teaching model that I loved the best was called direct teaching, which means I know how to do it. I'm going to show you how I do it. Now let's all practice. Let's do it together. And then, of course, a good teacher knows that you've done your job when you can step back and just observe the child and you see that they know how to do the whole skill from front to back by themselves. Then you know that you've done your job well and they've mastered it. So, that's one of the things that's a passion that's unique for me, perhaps in this space, is that when I'm working with people, I'm obviously demonstrating for them how I channel and connect with angels and how I work in the quantum realm as a psychic and a medium. But my primary goal is to have spaces and create interactions and experiences where I'm actually doing that with my clients, my friends. We call them the Judah family, and they truly are a family. And then as they get that chance to kind of practice in a safe space and realize, oh, I can do this with Angie's support. And then they begin doing it on their own, because I'm not here to create a new religion or be a figurehead or anything like that. I'm here to empower people to make their own connections to the divine and find their own group of angels that they work with and so on. So we try to really carefully structure everything we're doing to fulfill that model.
And within that, you teach people finding their own group of angel, meaning you also teach them how to channel themselves.
Yeah, there's a wide range of things we teach people, but basically, the overarching principle or philosophy is you have the magic, God is in you, and you can find your own answers. So I spend a lot of time training people how to understand what's blocking them, how to discern the difference between their higher self and their ego, so that they really get to know themselves really well, and they know in any given moment of time whether they're operating from their highest self or they're operating from an ego part, and then what to do about it when they feel blocked. I teach them how to give commands to their subconscious mind to clear beliefs and blocks. I teach them how to clear entities from their field or energetic entanglements they're struggling with. I teach them how to use their body as a pendulum through kinesiology to know the truth in any situation that they're in. And yes, I teach them how to meet their own angels and connect and basically channel any entity that they're interested in speaking with.
Beautiful. I personally have a big connection with the Pleiadians. I've been reading lots of books about them, and just in general, channel material is also something I'm very interested in. So yeah, I think there's so many out there. It's very fascinating.
Yeah.
And so in your current business offering, what type of products and services do you offer?
Well, we have a staple course that's kind of our flagship course, and it's called the True You Accelerator. And it is, we offer it in two different ways. We offer it in self-study, and we offer it in a collaborative, more higher ticket item where they get 2 personal sessions with me, and we have a group class every week, and they have some contact with me and with classmates for the 12 weeks of the course. So the True You Accelerator course is the self-study version, and the Journey of the True You is the more interactive and dense, the collaborative and teaching version. And basically, this course is absolutely everything I know that brought me to the point that I am now. It's everything that brought me from sad, depressed, sick, suffering, unhappy, to fully fulfilled, abundant, on a course to enlightenment, interacting with angels and connected to my higher self. So I put everything in it. It's a really dense course that people are given lifetime access to. So we have that. Then we also have a beautiful companion, which is a much more inexpensive monthly subscription called Judah Treats. And Judah Treats is the thing that I'm most excited about, because I specifically, when I would work with people and I realized, wow, people are really stuck in old historical pain of the ego, ways that they've adapted to life, and they don't know, they're aware they're stuck and they're aware of their patterns, and they're doing all the right things. They're meditating, they're listening to enlightened teachers, they're eating well, doing that. They're doing all the right stuff, but they're still stuck. And the reason they're stuck is because of these old historical pain buried in the subconscious. And so it became really clear to me that I was only one person and couldn't get done enough fast enough, just one-on-one in session. So I put these audios together, and people can listen to them and literally train their subconscious mind to find the root in this lifetime or the past lifetime that's causing them pain and suffering and these unwanted patterns, and clear them permanently. And it will actually train them how to do this for themselves over time. So I decided, as far as the business goes, what we do is we offer a lot of things for free, a lot. And then we have a continuum of lower priced items like the Judah Treats, I think is $27 a month. And then we offer also a once a month digital event. So if people can't afford a session with me, they can get in the room for like $27. We have 2 hours together. I answer questions from the group, and we do a group healing. So it's an inexpensive way for them to get a lot of a really powerful energetic interchange. And it sounds a little bit like hype when I'm talking about it, but when you actually watch it and you see the stuff that goes on, you're like, whoa. People get some really heavy clearings. You can see it physically and tangibly in what's going on. And then we have, the sessions that I do, which are more and more expensive as I go. I book several months out, so I tend to adjust the price in order to kind of mitigate, my schedule being packed. And then we have the higher ticket course. And so, and we have other things that are free, like our Telegram group is free. And we have lots of folks that have been following us for years, and they have had the privilege of more intimate contact with me and doing the coursework and so on. And they're available. They're just out of the goodness of their heart to love on the people that show up in the feed. We have everything from people that show up very suicidal, people who are in sex slave situations, people that are homeless, to fully enlightened beings. So we've got a wide range of folks that come to be a part of the work. So some of the wiser, more mature ones are there serving, the ones that are struggling more in the Telegram format, and that's free.
That's beautiful that you have this harmony inside of your own groups and channels. It's like a own little tribe and ecosystem.
Absolutely. And, I hesitated in the beginning, Christian, to call, I felt that I was being prompted to call what we do the Judah family. And I hesitated to do that because I felt like that was a really big promise to make, to say to the world, we're going to be your family. But the more I've just rested in that and just set the intention that I want this, what we do here to be a family of intention, because there's so many people that are disenfranchised in this spiritual life. They do get disconnected. Sometimes they're ostracized by their family or rejected by their family, or perhaps their family is loving, but they don't understand what they're going through in their spiritual awakening process. So there's a lot of really lonely people out there in the spiritual community. It can be challenging for them to find people in the flesh and blood that they relate to. So I went ahead and went for it anyway, and I just hold it really loosely. And, everybody in the Judah family has risen to the occasion. They really do love and support each other. They get on the plane and go see each other. They sit with each other through surgeries and losses. And yeah, they've been absolutely really amazing. And it really hasn't, it's not been all on me. It's truly been a family.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I love how, there's so much out there for us to discover, and the more people have on the podcast and people listening to this, they're like, oh, I didn't know this existed, right? But there's so many things that exist that we don't even know exist.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah,
Mm-hmm. The beauty of the internet.
yeah, thanks for offering all that. And my question, so I want to shift the conversation a little bit more towards um, like people like in coming years with AI, a lot of people are gonna redirect themselves professionally or in a career field. So my question is, how can they like? Is there any tips or guidance we can give them um, to just guide them in the right way? Like any tips we have, like, oh yeah, if you have the opportunity to change your career path, do this and this, or follow this.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I work with a lot of people that are asking these questions, and they're really good ones. So, what I would say is you are the magician, and when people purchase your goods or services or whatever it is you have to offer, they're not doing it because of the goods or services necessarily. They're really buying into you. They're buying into the love that you represent, the energy, the passion, the level of consciousness that you exude. There's something about you that they're drawn to, they're attracted to. So you're the magician. So just like if you think about a magic show in Vegas, let's say, um, there can be all kinds of different tools that the magician has on the stage waiting for him or her to come out and make the magic happen. There could be hats and bunnies and scarves and saws and tables and boxes but those, so our products and services are like those tools, but there's no magic until the magician steps out on the stage, right? So you bring the magic, and whatever tools or services you offer really should be an expression of your magic. And what is the magic? The magic is everything that you do to be real and authentic in the world, to tap into your divinity, to be a clear, focused, loving channel. So I really, in my work, I do everything I can to set aside time to just be with myself, to meditate, to listen, to go into self-inquiry, to think about the Judah family, what they're saying to me, what they're needing, making sure I'm responding to that. But, as far as if you're someone who's wanting to make this turn, you absolutely can do it. So if you're not certain yet what your magic is, that's where you have to first see your magic. And the way you see that is when you're interacting with someone and you respond in a certain way or do a certain thing. I don't know, maybe your magic is singing or maybe it's art, whatever it is. But the way you figure out what your magic is by you see the response of the other. You see that what you offer, what you bring, opens them up, makes them feel lighter and less burdened. That it creates a kind of an attraction where they want to come near and they want to stick around, kind of like little puppies, with their owners. They just kind of have to stay close and follow you around everywhere. So you're looking for that magic. And then the modality, like the product, is not so important. It's as long as it's creating an authentic experience and interaction, and there's some magic happening from it. And with sessions was one of the first things that I started doing, sessions and YouTube videos. And so with the sessions, it was learn as you go. But I was constantly surprised how the hunger of the person coming and their desire to have their questions answered would draw through wisdom, unexpected wisdom that I didn't know was even there. And so I would say, jump in and follow the magic and jump in and do more of it and keep following that magic and do more and more of it until it produces an obvious demand. I did a lot of sessions for free in the beginning with friends and my family members. They were like my guinea pigs. And there was magic happening, and people wanted to give me some money in thanks, even though I wasn't asking for it. And so then there were donations, and then there was an obvious demand, and an understanding that people were willing and wanting to pay a certain amount of money. And over time, that amount has increased. But I would say, don't give up your day job too fast. Especially if you don't have a business mind.
Yeah.
But there comes a point where the income is flowing, and it's an obvious choice. For instance, I was teaching piano and I was building the Judah channel, and there came a point where I was making 3 times as much with the Judah channel than I was teaching piano. So it became obvious, okay, I need to quit doing this now. So I would say don't get the cart before the horse, right? Have your hustle on, be willing to do a little of both until it's obvious that you can let go of the old. And don't be afraid to take some risks too.
Yeah. And you mentioned that, quite early on you onboarded like a digital marketing team pretty much, from the start to share the message. Like, how did you, I guess, find them? How to make sure they had the right spiritual alignment with the marketing message that you were looking to put out there?
Yeah, well, the first person that came to us that was with us the first 18 months was really just dropped in our lap. I just shared with a friend, hey, I'm going to be looking for somebody to help me do this digital work. And she immediately responded, I know the perfect person. And truly, this was the perfect person. She was very adept in Kajabi. She had had a tremendous track record of personal success with Kajabi sales. And we onboarded her right away. So it was, a risk for us. It was a gamble because she was pricey. But there was an immediate, within 6 months we were in the black, and it was well worth it. We've also had other teams since then. One team that we worked with, it was not a good fit. Their level of consciousness, they were very well-intentioned and very loving and very skilled in the things that they did, but their level of consciousness just was causing some resistance. And it's a little hard to explain, but for me, being a psychic, I'm constantly aware of the different energies people are offering. And so it was a little disconcerting for me. What I learned through that experience is it is important for me, at least, to have the team that works for me has to really be open to growing, and they have to understand the dynamics of ego and getting your button pushed and entities and all those things, and be able to play on that field to some degree, holding an awareness. Yes, I'm doing these tasks, these digital tasks or whatever they are, but I'm also a spiritual person that's navigating a lot of things in the unseen realm as well. And the person we have with us now is just absolutely brilliant. So one thing I would say to that is, if you have the luxury, definitely hire someone to do the stuff that's not in your realm of magic, so to speak. So I have to constantly remember my magic is in channeling, teaching, and singing. That's where I can bring the magic: channeling, teaching, and singing. And so all the rest is not my thing, and I need to quickly offload that to someone competent who really enjoys that kind of work. Because if I spent all day in front of the computer doing digital tasks, I would really quickly burn out, because that's not my talent, my skill set. Now, my team member, he absolutely loves that kind of thing, and that's a place of flow for him. But, I always think about, in talking about this, Michelangelo carved the statue of the David, which it was so profound. It was the work that he did in chipping away the marble and creating this unbelievable work of art. It said that it literally changed the whole way the world thought about artwork from them going forward. And when he was asked, how did you create the David? Because he just had a block of marble, basically. He said, well, I just chipped away everything that wasn't the David. So I try to remember this, right? Whatever is not the David, I have to be willing to get to let it go, to get rid of it, to give it to somebody else, or just stop doing it altogether. So most of my time is spent meditating, reading, channeling, writing, working with people, and all the rest, I give it to someone else to do.
Yeah, I think that's a great, guiding post. Owning your magic and finding others to owning theirs. And for yourself, like, how do you see, I would say, the biggest opportunities in the coming years for spiritual entrepreneurs?
Mm. Well, I think, AI is going to change things. It's going to alleviate us from a lot of burdensome tasks, doing things that we really would prefer not to do. And that's going to give people the freedom to really journey inside more and focus on their own inner terrain and expanding their consciousness and just living more fulfilled and happy lives. And so I think, that people are always going to be willing to invest their dollars in themselves. And as consciousness grows, there'll be more and more of a desire for that, for people to invest in themselves. And, even like a retreat that we just finished doing was such an extraordinary, life-changing experience. We had people come from all over the world. And I think even there, people are taking back their vacation dollars from, getting wasted, on some beautiful beach somewhere, and pouring it back into themselves, into their own growth and community and so on. So I think that we'll have more and more funds that we'll want to divert to growing ourselves, and I think that there's so much room. When you're following your magic and doing what you're really called to do in life on a soul level, there's no way you cannot be abundant. And so I would say for anybody that has this passion and desire to have a spiritual business, if it's not panning out for you yet, it's probably because you have a belief system somewhere of unworthiness still in the subconscious. And once you clear that out, there's no way that you can't be abundant. I mean, in 8 years' time, when my awakening began about 8 years ago, I went from a school teacher making about $30,000 a year and really struggling. I worked very hard. I also had a part-time job before and after school, but I struggled to pay my bills and to be okay. To 8 years from now, I'm totally debt-free. I work about 4 hours a day. I only do what I love doing. I absolutely love my work, and I will probably die with $10 million in the bank. So it's not just, something we say. We actually do create our own reality. And when you dig in and get rid of the belief systems, some ones that we have around money are, for instance, many years ago, I was singing and teaching, and I loved to sing, and I'd had an investor invested about $100,000 in a record for me, creating an album of some songs that I'd written. And I'd had some medial success, but I never broke through all the way. And the reason was I had some subconscious beliefs like, I can't be a good wife and mom if I'm a famous singer, if I'm a successful singer. So, see, there was an ego part of me. There were parts of me that wanted more to be home and be with my husband and my children than I wanted to be successful. And there's nothing wrong with that. That was just the truth of my experience. And so it never took off, and I was never fully successful in it, because there was an aspect of me that didn't want that total success. Right. So, but we can have lots of beliefs that keep us from making money in the spiritual space. Like a big one for me, I was raised in fundamentalist Christianity. My dad was a pastor. My mom was a pastor's wife. She had a beautiful mink coat, and she wouldn't wear it because she felt that pastor's wives shouldn't have money or shouldn't be ostentatious or shouldn't have a mink coat. And so she wouldn't wear it. It stayed in the closet till the day she died. So if we have, deeply ingrained beliefs that spiritual work should go unpaid, that we shouldn't be paid for it, that we should do it for free, then it's not going to succeed. We can charge money, we can develop products, but if we have an unconscious belief that we shouldn't be charging money, then it's not gonna fly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Beautiful. I'd love to bring Judah in and see what he has to say about, the present and the future of business. Yeah. So
Okay, go ahead, my dear. Ask your beautiful questions. We are ready to answer them.
So the question I have for Judah is, how can we be a spiritualpreneur?
Yes, this vessel has been laying it out for you. You must discover what it is that you are here put on the planet to do. You must know that you know that you know this. Know what it is that you have to offer your love and wisdom, and through what skill set and what talent set. Your high love and wisdom, the high love and wisdom of your higher self is longing to be expressed through the talents and skills of your personality, your ego. And when you allow this to flow freely, you will see in the one in front of you the magic that is created, and even miraculous. And this is what you may quantify. This is what you may pursue. For as you sow your divine time, energy, and attention into high service to others, they very naturally want to also reciprocate and give and receive, not just receive from you, but give back to you. And this is the way of love, is it not? Love is to be both given and received, given and received, given and received. And so when you are giving your high love and wisdom through your specific skill sets and talents, others are going to happily receive it and also reciprocate by giving back to you. And this will be an exchange of love, an exchange of love. And those who give money to this vessel for the various things she offers do it with so much gratitude and appreciation, and they don't feel lessened by the giving. They feel expanded by the giving, you see. And so know what it is that you're here to do it. And then you must put a demand on life that you will do it, that you will do it, that you will not die with your magic in you, that when you cross over, you will have the peace and assurance of knowing that you did exactly what you were here to do. And you must get rid of all these ideas that you're not worthy or that you shouldn't charge. In fact, many people that this vessel meets and works with should be charging twice what they're now charging, but they can't allow themselves to do it because they don't feel they are worthy. But yet, if they would begin to double their price, perhaps, then maybe they will begin to feel a sense of worthiness, as they still feel and see people coming and attracted and willing to pay the price because they so value what they are receiving through the vessel. How can you quantify magic? How can you quantify being healed of cancer? How can you quantify being free of the sadness of loss of a child that's troubled you for decades? You can't put a price on these things. They are eternal in weight and value. So the money that is exchanged for business is simply a symbol or an emblem of a spiritual, a heavenly currency. And so you must know what it is that you bring to the world that has value in the realm of heaven. If it has value in the realm of heaven, if it can't be snuffed out, if it's a fire in you that can't be put out, if it's a fire lit by spirit, and the value is beyond your imagination. And so the evidence of this will be that others will symbolically give you money as a representation of the heavenly worth of what you offer. And what else, my dear?
So listeners who are tuning into this podcast, they're really interested in starting their own business, right? How can we, I guess, tell them to not be afraid and just go start doing it? Because that's literally all that I feel to it.
Yes, well, of course you're afraid because you've been taught to go along, you've been taught to get along, you've been taught to adapt yourself, make yourself small, fit into the box, do what the boss wants, do what the teacher wants, do what the parents want, do what the administrators and the pastors and the priests want you to do. And all of this is enslavement. And so we love that you're thinking about having your own business, or that you're making progress towards beginning it, or even in the thick of it and working out the details of it. Because what we want you to know is, yes, it is time for you to take back your power and run your own life. You are supreme, infinite creator being. And as long as you work for someone else, there are going to be limitations. You are going to be limited to some degree, many times a large degree, by the level of consciousness of your boss. If you are a high-flying person who walks and lives in unconditional love and integrity, but your boss is motivated by fear or greed, then you are going to continually bang your head on the ceiling of that fear or greed, because that boss has spiritual authority in the realm of heaven and earth over that location and over that enterprise. And so when you begin your own business, you take yourself out from under the spiritual authority of others, which is restricting and limiting in nature, and then you get to decide. You get to decide the level of integrity, the level of love, the level of excellence, the level of spiritual empowerment that is brought through your work. Because we don't want you to be limited by anyone. We want you to operate as God, God in the earth, God in the body, God running your business, the divinity shining and glowing through you. And you can't do this if you're working for someone else. And we will also be very careful of who you come into partnership with and sign contracts with. Be cautious, be thoughtful. Maintain your autonomy as much as is possible. And so when you create these businesses of your own, basically what you allow yourself to do is you allow yourself to receive so much more wealth and abundance because there are no limitations. Then at that point, the only limitation is within your own inner being. So if you find that you are in this beautiful new business of yours that you're creating, and there's not wealth coming yet, you must look back inside. Take a U-turn, Y-O-U-turn. Take a U-turn back into your own inner being and examine again, what is it that you believe about yourself, about life, about what you have to bring to the world, about your worthiness and deservedness and the value of who and what you are and bring to the world. And as you continue clearing up these things within you, you will find the abundance will flow. Actually, it is true. This vessel literally does not have the time to spend all the money that she makes. And we hope you will find yourself in this quandary as well.
Wonderful. That's a beautiful image to end on. Thank you. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, very grateful to be ending on such a high note for all the listeners. So, yeah, if you're interested in finding more about Anjie and the Judah channel, feel free to check out her website at thejudah with H channel.com. And yeah, I think she has wonderful, wonderful offerings that can help you make a U-turn.
And many blessings on your businesses and all your dreams.
Likewise, yeah. Consider this podcast as a little blessing for your business tuning in, and good things are coming your way.
Good. Wonderful.
Thank you so much.